So let's talk about some email and collaboration security settings in Windows Defender or the Microsoft 365 Security Admin Center. Remember, from the we select the Security Admin Center, and that brings us to Microsoft Defender. So let's expand email and collaboration. And there are going to be three things here. So the first one is a quick review. And there's a couple of things here that we need to be aware of. So quarantine, this is where we're going to find quarantine email messages. So something comes in, it gets flagged as spam or phishing, it gets quarantined, it comes here. And when you click on quarantine, and I won't have any here, but you'll see all of the quarantine email messages here. And then you can go through and search and find them and choose what to do with your quarantine message. Now, you may also end up in a situation where you have a restricted entity. And a restricted entity is someone who has been blocked because they've been sending too many emails that have been marked as spam or bulk. So if we click on that, that will give us a list of all of our restricted entities. And then we can choose to unblock a restricted entity at that point if we want to. Now, in my browser, this bar doesn't go away, which is kind of annoying. It's going to stay there forever until I refresh. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh my screen, which will take it a second, but it'll get rid of that bar, which will make me happier. So that is our review. Exchange message trace, this actually takes you to your Exchange admin. And from your mail flow, you can run a message trace. And then we also have policies and rules. And we've looked at some of these before when we've looked at some policies for email security. So we have our anti-phishing, anti-spam, anti-malware. Here are other rules we could set, tenant. By the way, I'm going to reference back to this. These are referenced in a previous video. You can find that video and look at some of those policies. We also have some rules, tenant allow, block lists, email authentication, advanced delivery, quarantine policies, configuration analyzer for templated policies. We've got the configuration analyzer, preset security policies. The other thing that's interesting though here, so in addition to your threat policies is your alert policies. And since we've already talked about some of the others, I want to talk about this a little bit more in this video. So alert policies will trigger alerts when certain things happen. So here you're going to see the name of the policy, and all these are predefined. The name of the policy, the severity of it, what type it is, and then what category it is. Threat management, mail flow, permissions, and then when was it last modified. So I can look at a policy like here, reply all storm detected. So I can click on that. This is a default policy, so it won't let me change everything. But it gives me a description. This alert is triggered when a reply all storm is detected and at least one reply all to the mail thread has been blocked. See the reply all storm protection mail flow for more information. So we have our alert. We can turn it off or on right here. Turn that back on. We can set our recipient. So who do we want to send this to? By default, it's going to tenant admin. Do we want to limit the number of notifications they receive in a day? And then threshold, number of VIP messages affected is over 1. So let's go ahead and just, a value not less than 20 is allowed. So let's set a value of 25. And then we're going to submit our changes to the rule. And it triggered that because I turned it off, turned it back on. I can also edit a policy here, configure my alert settings, and then select my recipients. This will show me who my recipients are, and this will let me edit them. So these are all of the predefined rules that I can turn, or alerts that I can turn on or off. If I want to create a new alert policy, I can do that from here. New alert policy, I'm going to give it the very exciting name of demo. I can set a description. I can set the severity. Is this a low, medium, or high alert? Let's set this as medium. And then I can set the category. So is this threat management, information governance, permissions, mail flow, something else? Let's do a permissions one. We're just playing at the moment. So the activity is, and then this list is going to be defined by what I selected as a category earlier. So I'm going to say we shared a file or folder. And then I can add some conditions to this. The IP address is, the user is, the file is, whatever I want. How do you want the alert to be triggered? Every time something matches it, so every time we share a file or folder, or when the volume of shared files or folders reaches a threshold. Let's say we want to be alerted anytime more than 5 files or folders are shared within a 30-minute window. Won't let me go 30 minutes. We'll do a 60-minute window. Let's do a 90-minute window just to be different. And then do we want to monitor all users or a single user? So I'm going to do this on all users. So as a group, if all of my users share more than 5 items within 30 minutes, I want to be notified. Or I can just say, hey, whenever this looks unusual. So I'm going to click next. So create the alert settings, create the recipients. I want to send this to me. I can also choose other users here that I could potentially send it to, or other groups that I could potentially send it to. And then do I want to limit how many times a day I get this notification? Don't limit me more than 5 times in one day, or don't notify me more than 5 times in one day. Do I want to turn this policy on right away? Yeah, let's go ahead and turn it on right now and submit. And that should create a new policy, except it's giving me a notification saying that my subscription isn't high enough because it's an advanced notification. Okay, so if you run into that, realize requires an Office 365 E5 subscription or E3 subscription with threat intelligence or other options. So that's how you would go through and create an alert if you have a subscription that will allow you to do that. Since I don't, I'm going to go ahead and cancel, and there is our overview of email and collaboration security using Microsoft Defender.